Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video I'm giving you 7 top tips for aspiring artists. And yes, I know 7 is a bit of an odd number for tips, but I thought that 5 wasn't quite enough and 10 I was repeating myself. So I've given you 7 top tips. So in the background I've got one of my latest wildlife watercolours I've decided to paint from my own reference again of this lovely lemur. So you can enjoy watching this whilst listening to these tips. So let's get straight into it with tip number 1, and that is to practice, practice, practice. You really need to draw a lot, and that is fundamental in growing your skills and improving. So one of the ways that you can practice is obviously to use a sketchbook. I've been doing this recently and I found it really helpful, and I've seen my observation skills grow, and I've also seen my freehand drawing skills grow. So using a sketchbook and drawing a lot, make sure you draw every single day, really helps. And it also helps to draw from life. So make sure that you pick objects around you and you just draw them. So you spend like 10 minutes a day just drawing objects that are around you. So I've been drawing bottles, glasses, anything that's sort of sitting around on my desk. I've just spent a little bit of time just observing it and jotting that down in my sketchbook. It's also important to use reference material for things that aren't easily accessible to you. So I like to draw a lot of animals, and obviously I can't go and sit at the zoo every single day or when I want to draw. And so I can't draw from life in that respect. So I use reference material, and you can use that to grow. You can still grow your observation skills. You can still grow those fundamental drawing skills. So using appropriate reference material is also a good tip as well. You also need to make sure that you accept imperfection and expect that you're not going to be as good when you very first begin. So every single artist had to begin somewhere. No artist suddenly got up one day and was suddenly great at drawing. It all came from practice and accepting those beginning pieces that they were imperfect. So when you start out, you're obviously not going to be as good as 2 or 3 years' time. So you need to expect that your beginning drawings aren't going to be as good as what you can achieve. So you need to look at those imperfections, see where you went wrong, and use it to grow. You also need to draw what you love. It's really fundamental in inspiring you and creating that drive to actually improve your drawing skills. So tip number 2 for aspiring artists is to try different mediums. You really need to sort of experiment and see what you like when you're very first starting out. It's okay for you to sort of go, okay, I want to use colour pencils, I want to be a colour pencil artist. But it's also important to explore watercolour, oil painting, acrylic painting, maybe pyrography, something like that. You need to experiment with different mediums to see what you like, because you might want to work with colour pencils, say, but if you was to experiment with watercolour, you might find that you are really good at it and that you actually really like it. So it's really important to experiment with different mediums to actually see which you like. There are tons of different mediums to try, so pick a few, try them out, see what you like, and just continue to explore your creativeness through different mediums until you find one that really sticks with something that you want to do. So tip number 3 is to challenge yourself. As artists, we are always constantly growing and learning, and it's important to encourage that growing and learning by challenging yourself, by trying to draw different things. So try drawing different subjects and try different techniques with your chosen mediums. I'm going to use myself as an example here. I really love to draw animals, and that is something that I love to draw, and that's what I practice drawing. And to challenge myself, I sometimes draw something different. So recently I've drawn some roses. I've tried some different techniques. I've tried using solvent again. I've continually challenged myself by mixing it up a little bit, so being a little bit free with what I allow myself to create. I still draw what I love, but I also challenge myself with drawing those tricky subjects. So that rose that I've recently drawn, that was a little bit tricky for me, and also by using solvent with a few of my drawings as well. That's sort of been a little bit of a challenge. And I'm also constantly learning new things and applying them and challenging myself in that way. So it's important that you constantly learn new things and challenge yourself to apply them to your work, because you might find something that actually really works for you and that you really like to draw. So I found that I actually quite like to draw botanicals. So by challenging myself to draw that rose initially, I found something that I additionally personally like to and love to draw. So tip number 4 is to learn from other successful artists. Now when I say successful artists, I mean like the masters, as well as people that you follow and love on social media and YouTube. So look at their work, look at what they've drawn, how they've drawn it, what kind of style they've used. So a prime example of this is to study masters' works, so Cézanne, Monet, those kinds of works. Study those and see what kind of brush marks they've used, how they use light within their piece, the different colours that they've used to create a certain atmosphere. It's really important to kind of study that and see how you can apply that to your own work. And you can also apply that to people that you follow on social media, YouTube, that kind of thing. So I follow a lot of artists and aspire to be like a few, and I'm constantly looking at their work, seeing what they're doing, if they're doing anything new, and then seeing if I can replicate those techniques and apply it to my work to sort of add to my style. So it's really important to learn from other successful artists, see what they're doing and apply it to your own work. Obviously don't copy them directly, but make sure that you sort of apply what they are doing and sort of put your own spin on it and apply it to your own work. Because you might find, for instance, if you're looking at the way that somebody uses colours together, you might find that that's a really good technique to apply to your own work. So make sure that you look at masters' works and look at other successful like social media artists, look at their work and see what you can apply to your own. Tip number 5 is to take criticism. When you're very first starting, people are going to give you their honest opinion of your work, and it's important to take that criticism and learn from it. Try not to take people's criticism to heart. Some people do give really harsh criticism and some people are just out there to troll you, but a majority of people will give you constructive criticism. They will tell you where you need to improve, and often they will tell you how to improve as well. So make sure that you take people's criticism when they give it, and also ask for criticism. So if you're on social media, make sure that you put a post up and ask what people think of it and how people think that you could improve on it. And if people are giving you constructive criticism back, make sure that you apply that to your next works. So always make sure that you do take criticism and you learn from it as well. So along with that point, it is really difficult not to take some certain criticism to heart. And I know a lot of people are quite defensive when they are given criticism, but just sort of evaluate where that criticism is coming from. Are they a professional? Have they got a little bit more experience than you? And if they have, then make sure that you apply that. If it's just somebody that's out to troll you and just generally hating, obviously don't take that advice on board. But try not to take it to heart too much, because there are going to be people that are going to put down your work, but a majority of people are going to uplift your work. So if somebody is overly nasty, try not to take it to heart. I know it's difficult, but just learn from it and just sort of grow from it as well. So tip number 6 is to have patience, and this is really, really vital, guys. Building a skill takes a lot of time. As I said in a previous tip, no artist got out of bed one day and was suddenly brilliant. They took the time to learn their skill, and it took them a long time. I've been using coloured pencils for 6 years now, and it's taken me that period of time to become to the level where I am now. And I still don't think that I am the best at coloured pencil. There's still room for me to grow, and I'm constantly building that skill, and I'm having patience with it, because if I put that practice in, then I'm going to see my skill build, but it does take a long time. And it's important not to get frustrated that it is taking that time to build that skill. So don't expect your skill to build after 3 months. Expect that it's going to take you like 2 to 5 years to build your skill to an exceptional level. In a lot of cases, I know a lot of people do actually build their skill in a couple of months, but again, those people can still expand on those skills, and those people are still constantly learning and improving their style and that skill. So have patience with it. Try not to get frustrated if you don't see it building to a level and pace that you want. Make sure that you take that time and have that patience with it, because you will get there one day. My last tip for you guys, so tip number 7, is to always believe in yourself. That's really important. Always have faith in your art and always believe that you can get better and that you will get better. And never give up. Never give up creating your art. Never give up if something's taking too long. If you apply all of these different tips, so you practice, you try different mediums, you challenge yourself, you learn from other artists, you take that criticism and you have that patience in building your skill, you will get to a level that you find acceptable for yourself. So always believe in yourself, always believe that you are going to get there and that you are going to be a successful artist, and never ever give up on what you love to do, which is creating your art. So those are my top 7 tips for you guys. Hopefully you have found some of these useful. These 7 steps and tips are something that I have applied to myself and to my own work. So I have gone through every single one of these tips and applied it to myself, and this is how I've got to the level that I am today. So hopefully if you are an inspiring or beginner artist, hopefully these have helped you and that you can apply these and use them to grow your artwork. Let me know in the comments if this has helped you and if you would like other inspiring videos like this as well. If you like this video, then make sure you give it a thumbs up, and if you're new around here and you like this video, then make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my videos, and tick that bell icon so you can be notified as well. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!